So which one of these mid-range phones is the best for you? In this comparison, I'm going to cover the screens, the build, the design, some benchmarks, quickly cover the camera, and things like the battery life as well, but I won't go into huge amounts of detail. After all, I have the full review of both of these phones. You can find the link to those reviews in the description of this video. So these phones look very similar. Now the Xiaomi is marginally larger because it is a 6.53-inch screen versus a 6.4-inch that we have on the X2. And the build quality, I'm going to have to give the win with the build, as you'll see, to the Xiaomi because it does actually have metal, the frame around it, where we've got a plastic hard frame that is around the Realme X2 that will fool a lot of people into thinking it's metal. It actually feels like metal with the paint job they've got on it. Now you see that we've got notches at the top and we do have normal earpieces within both of those notches there, okay? Side bezels are similar. Now this one weighs 203 grams, so it's the heavier phone, the Redmi Note 8 Pro, versus about 185 here with this one. Thickness-wise, they're about the same, but sitting flush on a table, you will see that the Xiaomi actually just sticks up a little bit more because of the camera being in the middle and not off to one side. Both of the cameras, you can see, protrude. That's ugly. They stick out by almost 2 millimeters, both of them there. They're about the same. The buttons both have a good feel to them. I can easily access them. You can see this with the X2, this is with the Redmi Note 8, and in hand feel good. And we've got glass on the rear of both of them here, as you can see. Now, without going into too much detail here, the cameras on the rear, I have a camera comparison between the Realme 5 Pro and the Redmi Note 8. And I go into a bit of detail with that. I know they're not the same cameras, but here are just a couple of samples. You can see, to me, I'm going to just say it outright that yes, the Xiaomi takes a better photo. It gets the car a little bit better. However, video quality is the definite winner here. Even though they both have the same 64 megapixel Samsung GW1 sensor in there, it's all of course software optimization. To me, Realme needs to work on it a little bit more. They seem to have gotten it down with the Realme 5 Pro. That one's well optimized, but not particularly well optimized so far, at least with the Realme X2, the Chinese version that I have here. So build, I'm just going to give it here to the Xiaomi. And they both got ultra-wide cameras too as well. Now, just to, again, let you know without wasting any real time here, that it's better, the ultra-wide on the Xiaomi. I find the Realme one seems to be quite washed out, as you can see again from those sample images. Now, with front-facing cameras, there is a big difference in terms of the image quality here. You can see that it's shaking around quite a bit with the Xiaomi because we don't have any electronic image stabilization. It doesn't pick up the wind noise as bad as the X2, as you'll hear. But I've also noticed as well that the picture and at least the exposure, the dynamic range is a little bit better with Xiaomi's. But overall, I'd take the better microphones and the electronic image stabilization on the X2. And now with the X2, you can hear better microphone quality, but it picks up wind noise a lot more. But we've also got electronic image stabilization, so much better for vloggers with stable footage here, a lot smoother, not shaking around with me walking, as you can see. Now we've got down the bottom here for ports. Both of them had 3.5mm output. I'll focus on the loudspeakers too. In just a minute here, I'll give you a sample of them. We'll compare both of them. So microphone call quality to me sounds the same. Both have active noise cancellation. Now in terms of audio quality, 3.5mm output, I have to give the win to Xiaomi here as well. I just think it sounds a little bit better to my ears at least, but it's all personal preference. So Type-C ports on both of them. Now charging speeds, Realme definitely win here. So if you plug them in for 30 minutes, you are going to get a crazy about 65% battery on the Realme because it's got the 30 watt versus the 18 watt. So hands down, if you need a really fast charging phone, then you go for the Realme X2 because it can fully charge in under an hour. It's so fast there with charging. That then brings me on to the screens. So screens, it's a clear winner here to me. You've got a Super AMOLED panel in the Realme X2, which is absolutely a stunning panel for the price of this phone. Really, it is, okay? They've really pushed things ahead. Look at the difference here at the notches. Can you see it? Can you spot it? If you're running this video, even if you don't have a 4K monitor, stick it on the 4K setting if your bandwidth permits, and you'll be able to see the difference I'm talking about here. There's this shadowing around the top of the notch you get with the IPS panel. I call it shadowing because it's actually just a bit of like gray creeping in around the corners where it should be a unified white right there in Chrome, but it's not. With the AMOLED panel here, you can see that it doesn't have any of those issues. Maximum brightness, 800 lux versus just over 500 So we've got 300 lux more brightness on the Realme X2. It is a superior screen to me, and I'll just quickly go into Display Tester here just to show you one of the tests. If we take a look now at banding, you'll see what I mean here, that, okay, the brightness is different between both of them, but you get the idea. To me, hands down, AMOLED panel here wins. But yes, of course, it will suffer from screen burn in the long run. In 2 or 3 years' time, then if we came back to look at the screens, it could be possible screen burn, which the IPS wouldn't have. Face unlocking. So which one is quicker? To me, they are very similar, but I think the Xiaomi has the edge. So I'm going to tap the power button now. Definitely faster, I think, on the Xiaomi, wasn't it? Oh, very close, though. It's about the same, really. Okay, now fingerprint reader tech is different here because we've got below the screen optical versus the always on capacitive. So to me, you know, that is always going to win the Xiaomi here, but I'll show you. So I'm going to put my finger here on the rear at the same time I press my thumb here. So we'll do it 1, 2, 3. And oh, that actually didn't seem as fast as I thought it was going to be. That was interesting. Okay, we'll do that again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, you can see there that yes, this Xiaomi is actually faster and it's going to win every time. So I'll just demonstrate that now. It's super quick, very fast, no problems with it, versus this one that's pretty quick still for an optical under-screen fingerprint reader. But you'll notice that, there we go, it just took a while to actually wake up. You notice that it's just not quite as fast. Then onto loudspeaker quality. So I've noticed that to me, the X2 loudspeaker actually sounds better. It's fraction louder. It's about 3 decibels louder. But I'm going to do a quick test here. This is the Terminator 2 trailer. I'll play first the X2, which is on the left, and then the Redmi Note 8 Pro. So loudspeaker is right here on the X2, and it is right here on the Redmi. So that's why the distance is about the same from my decibel meter, but this is just an estimate, okay? It's not exact science. Here we go.
What's he done now?
There was a guy here this morning looking for him too.
Yeah, big guy on a bike. I wouldn't worry about him. I wouldn't worry about him. Get down.
Who sent?
Okay, so to me, it sounds better on the X2. I'll just play a little bit more.
Get down.
Who sent you?
You did. 35 years from now, you reap.
So it's just marginally louder there. Now onto ROM performance. Now for me, the clear winner is the X2. Okay, it's just so much smoother. The animations, I'm not seeing tiny little micro stutters as I do on the Xiaomi. It's all down to ROM optimization, and I believe it's due to the experience that they have Realme with, of course, Oppo and OnePlus's Oxygen OS. So Oxygen OS, I think they've pulled through some of those little tricks up their sleeve just to make it seem so smooth. So both of these models do have 8 GB of RAM, and you notice it in full screen gestures. If I just bring this and hold this up now on both of them. Okay, so they've got different ways of multitasking, but both of them are very smooth there. It's just the animations now and then, you just see these little stutters happening. So in 2.2 scores, which aren't really that important to me, but a lot of you, it is. It's life and death sort of thing. They're actually about the same here, okay? So CPU is higher on the Realme X2, but then the GPU is higher on the Redmi Note 8 Pro. Now I did show different scores, and I apologize for that in my Realme X2 review. What happened is I download Antutu from Google Play Store, but at one point there was a different version. They pushed out version 8, and then they dropped it and put back version 7, and that's why there was a difference. And I was so tired I didn't even pick up on it before. But they're about the same, okay? When you look at memory speeds as well, there's a difference there. But it's the optimization and what it's all about. And Xiaomi always seem to, I don't know if you just saw it then, a couple of little stutters, it just does never seems to be as smooth. Now, Chrome, scrolling in Chrome is smooth on both of them, very good. But again, I just noticed that everything just seems to be that little bit better on the X2 there. That's just my own personal preference there with that. Now I want to do a little speed test here. That's just checking out our internet speeds. So we need to get onto the same server. So Mass Mobile, oh, hang on, that's different. So Blue Easy is the one I'm going to pick here. So I'll make sure I connect to both of them, but I won't run it at the same time. I want to demonstrate a little feature here that the X2 has up its sleeve that the Xiaomi should have. So the Xiaomi should support dual simultaneous wireless networks, right? So 5G and 2.4 at the same time. But for some reason, in the software, Xiaomi does not have it enabled, at least at the time of this video, okay? So I'll start out with the Xiaomi. I'll do that one first. I'm connected up to a fiber line, by the way, which is 600 megabits per second. So we'll see the difference in speed, and hopefully Xiaomi can enable this. So here is where the X2 also has a very, very good edge in terms of downloading things, your applications, especially large games. So we get about 200 here on the download, okay? And then on the upload, about 200 as well, which is actually very good considering I'm a couple of rooms away from the router. So we'll do it here now from this one, the X2, see how that performs. And my guess is it will be about double the speed because it's using the other networks. Okay, not quite. Or maybe it is. It's actually going to get up to 400, so look at that. So this is really good. This is flagship wireless performance on the X2, which really has surprised me. It shocked me that this is not a gimmick, this feature. I mean, look at those speeds. Wow. So quick, the wireless. So if downloading wireless performance and including games as well is important to you, then the X2 is the one to go for. And then when we take a look at the internal storage speed, so both are using 128 gigabytes of UFS 2.1 single channel storage here. And the sequential reads and writes are almost identical, okay? Not much of a difference there. But when you take a look at the random reads, more or less, not too much of a difference there, right? But look at the random write speeds. This is where, for example, if you were installing things, it should come out to be a little bit quicker maybe on the Xiaomi because it gets 180 megabytes per second random writes, whereas the Realme X2 only gets 21 random writes. But really, in real-world use, I haven't really seen any difference between installation times or anything like that. But for a synthetic benchmark, there is a clear difference here. Now on to gaming performance. So obviously I've only got two hands. I can't play both of these games simultaneously. But I'll let you know the obvious here, that when you move and walk around with the Realme X2, that you notice that the gaming performance, this is Shadowgun Legends, by the way, on the ultra setting, very demanding, Android's most demanding game, I believe. 60 frames per second, you will notice a few frame dips, and overall it just seems a little bit slower in smoothness when you look around here than say the Redmi Note 8 Pro, as I'll now demonstrate. So with this one, it still has a few little frame dips, but see when I move around, it's so much smoother. You can clearly see this. So for gamers out there, you want the best gaming performance out of these two mobiles. To me, it's clear. Get the Redmi Note 8 Pro. And onto a very short throttling test here. So I want to see which one warms up the most just after 5 or 10 minutes. But in my experience, it's the Redmi Note 8 after gaming for long periods feels warmer than the X2 here. So I'm going to hit start at the same time. Okay, they're both going to run. So I'll leave that for 5 or 10 minutes and we'll come back and check just how hot they're getting. You can see the performance here, that it's actually a little bit lower on the Redmi Note 8 Pro. Okay, so we're coming up to the 10-minute mark, and I don't really believe in these unrealistic tests, but it is showing us that it's clearly throttling a lot. The Helio G90T versus the Snapdragon 730T, which is throttled down now a little bit. You can see to about 90%, but it's dropped down. There's a lot of yellow here that I'm seeing. Hopefully you can make that out on camera. That's when it's throttling down in performance. So look at the difference in performance there, the numbers we're looking at. So I check the temps. I mean, I'm not really into these tests too much, but we'll have a look at just how hot. So we got 33 degrees, 34. Ambient temperatures here, by the way, are 25.6. I have the air conditioning on. I just took a reading. And look at that. It's actually getting hotter. The Realme X2 on the screen. That's quite a bit of a difference. So we'll just flip them around now. And I'll keep that running, of course. Take a look and see how hot are they getting. All right. So this one is up to 34 again on the back. So it's just like I said in my review of the Redmi Note 8 Pro. I don't have any heat issues with mine, even after gaming for hours on end. It gets about to 39 degrees. And here it's 36.4. Okay, so there we go. So the Realme is actually hotter here but it's not throttling as much, and it has higher performance after 10 minutes. So that's an interesting result there. For me, the decision is very clear. For the build quality, for the still camera quality, and for the slightly better, but only marginally slightly better gaming performance once it starts to throttle down a little, that is the Redmi Note 8 Pro. For everything else, for the screen, which is so much brighter, this is 300 lux brighter, it's an AMOLED panel, a much higher quality display overall, super fast charging, and very quick wireless performance, and a very smooth ROM, and really good video quality and really good microphones. You go then for the Redmi X2, that would be your pick. Now if you're on a very tight budget and you can't afford to spend a little bit extra for this one, then of course Redmi Note 8 Pro is your pick there. So thank you so much for watching this comparison. If you did like it, please do give a thumbs up for the time and effort that I've put into this video. And also think about subscribing to the channel for more up and coming videos, more possible comparisons as well. And I do hope to see you again. Bye for now.